Hello. We're just getting going here. I don't see myself, Mayana.
You are the main screen, Suzanne.
So everybody out there sees me and I don't see me.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, how about that? There's Lisa. Now she's on the main screen.
Okay, so if we're not muted, our picture will come up on the main screen. So we want to keep all of us muted until we're ready.
Okay. Well, I'm ready. Well, welcome. This is, we're on a, Bonnie, yes? Can you hear us? Okay. So we're on a learning curve here on how to coordinate our Global Grandmother Council Network org website and Facebook. And so we are doing a Zoom call, and to avoid a long conversation of why there's a little bit of confusion, I'm just going to go to present moment, beautiful moment. I don't know about you folks, but wow, the last 3 days have been whoppers. And I'd like to just get engaged with the conclusion of what we have been doing for the last month since December 12th, observing the four rivers of our life, which is a universal cross-cultural teacher. And I'd like to bring Lisa on, if I can, to the speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that we're doing with the water is getting into our senses. Water medicine is all about the senses in our face and how we respond to them. It holds our authentic wisdom. And my dear friend, our dear friend, Brooke Medicine Eagle, a long, long time ago, when I actually was doing a 4-year ceremonial healing of the waters, 84 to 88, came up with a song about the waters, but she calls it Spirit of the Wind. And many of you have heard me relate that right now. The wind is the breath of the Creator. And we are putting breath to what is desiring to be expressed right now. And so, Lisa, would you sing Spirit of the Wind? And may you all listen closely to the teaching of the waters.
So as I sing, just breathe into your own body. And this song has a lot of different verses, and I like to pay attention to which one is really calling to my body and to my senses. So as you listen, just noticing what part of the song is speaking deeply to you. Spirit of the wind, carry me. Spirit of the wind, carry me home. Spirit of the wind, carry me home to myself. Spirit of the ocean, depth of emotion. Spirit of the sea, set my soul free. Spirit of the wind, carry me. Spirit of the wind, carry me home. Spirit of the wind, carry me home to myself. Spirit of the sun, warm light healing me. Spirit of the sky, spread my wings and fly. Spirit of the storm, help me be refreshed. Spirit of the rain, wash away my pain. Spirit of the wind, carry me. Spirit of the wind, carry me home. Spirit of the wind, carry me home to myself. Spirit Spirit of the river, blessed forgiver, Spirit of the shore, show me more and more. Spirit of the land, hold me in your hand. Spirit of the earth, help me with my birth. Yeah, Spirit of the wind, carry me. Spirit of the wind, carry me home. Spirit of the wind, carry me home to myself. Spirit of the ocean, depth of emotion. Spirit of the sea, set my soul free. Spirit of the sun, warm light, healing me. Spirit of the sky, spread my wings and fly. Spirit of the rain, wash away my pain. Spirit of the storm, help me be reborn. Spirit of the river, blessed forgiver. Spirit of the shore, show me more. Spirit of the land, hold me in your hand. Spirit of the earth, help me with my birth. Yeah, Spirit of the wind, carry me. Spirit of the wind, carry me home. Spirit of the wind, carry me home to myself.
Thank you, dear one. I call her a troubadour. And the thing of Miss Lisa Luna is that when I was in my terrible car accident a dozen years ago, she got ousted from the nest of being the ladies who stood beside me and did the ceremonies to being the one that had to represent me. And so I'm grateful that you who are showing up either through the ethers or in reality get to see the relationship between a teacher and a student become the relationship of holy ones, water medicine women that are responding to a call that's ancient. The ancestors are calling us. One of the things I've been hearing is since that terrible accident when I had my traumatic brain injury, I began channeling the grandmothers. And so the last few days, I mean, Dr. Estes, all Angie, all these grandmothers have been coming to me and saying, remember, tell them, remember. So in the way of honoring, I want to remember all my great teachers, many that are in the invisible, the spirit realm, but many who walk amongst us. In fact, those that are in you that are participating. And I want to get involved with you right now. So for the last month, we've been looking at the 4 rivers and whether we want to call it physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, whether we want to call it north, south, east, west, whether we want to call it the home of the visionary, the home of the healer, the home of the teacher, the home of the spiritual leader. We've been examining it. And opportunities, especially the last 3 or 4 days, have been profound, at least in my realm. With the fires and the earthquake in Tibet at the Mother Mountain, it's like, what's been working you? And so I'd like to just start with myself, and then I'd like to go around those who are willing to come to voice. So in my life, I've been destined to be in the north on the Great Wheel, a spiritual leader, a community leader, a wisdom keeper that represents the holiest of holies. And throughout my life, I've had the repeated archetype pattern of the bully, the oppressor in my life and lifetimes. So last month, I've been just so happy with myself because my West River, the River of Challenge, there's been no activity. There's been no activity there. Everything's been calm. And then the fires erupted, and Just 3 days ago, I was sitting in my sacred writing group with some eternal friends, and I wrote my wind horse prayer. And much to my surprise, it triggered a response in my Anamkara, my soul brother, that made him shapeshift into the bully. And he got aggressive, and he said some things that were not nice. And it was at that moment I went, wow, what time, where are we? Present, past? And I put up my hand, and I remembered my teachings from Thich Nhat Hanh that said, stop. I have not one more breath to be in that place. Present moment, beautiful moment. And I share that with you because I know I'm not alone, that others, you probably have been meeting these demons, these vampires from the past that are doing their last grasp to put out our light. So now I'd like to go around the circle and open up your sharings and observations. Can we do that, Mayana? I'd like to start with Lisa. Can we start with Lisa demonstrating that?
Sure. And I think what people can do is raise a hand, and then you unmute yourself and then you mute yourself again. Does that sound good, Mayana? So that we take turns. So every time, it's been 20 some years of doing this, and every time I listen, I get new dimensions, new layers to this, which is really beautiful. And today I'm going to come forth recognizing, being able to name that archetype that I have unconsciously perhaps contracted with. Bully, what is it? What is it? Especially that river of challenge, like looking at that as as heart and teacher, as shaman, like that's fascinating. So for me, over the years, I have noticed that my river of magic dwindles if I do not get time in nature. That's super connected to nature for me. And it's also connected to divination. So making sure that I spend time really connecting to life's messaging and my life's timing. When I get into that space, I recognize that there's a timing, there's a design that I'm part of, but I'm not in charge of. I love that. My river of challenge was not running very full either until just a little bit ago. And then it's like, oh, there's that theme. And it is a bit of a bully. It's a challenge to my authenticity. People who come and say, no, you're this way. They call it slippery when I'm just busy and not available, or that one just came my way just a little bit ago. So being able to stay in charge of myself when I'm being projected upon is what I feel I'm called strongly to in my river of challenge. When people come at me with lies about reality or about myself, do I stay in tune with myself and support truth? And then for the river of inspiration, that's an easy one for me. It's very much, definitely, I can feel it connected to myself, my work, and my alone time naturally is inspiring to me. And then finally, the relationship river, as Suzanne knows, often bowls me over with its amount of people in it. So really boundarying myself in community, but noticing the ones that deeply nurture me, whose names come up over and over again, and what nurtures me. And this last month for the physical touch has been wonderful, like a lot of healthy, caring, affectionate physical touch, and loving listening. And when the people are not with me in physical form, I can feel deeply nourished by being heard. So that's my summary. And recognizing those of you who are new to this is me speaking from 20 years of tenderizing this. So just know that's my working it. So those of you who have a different connection, just trust yourself and your voice. And we look forward to hearing your reflections. Another thing we could do is tag somebody and just say, I passed the stick or the feather to Eve, to Sister Eve Costello, if she would be.
Yes.
Let's do that.
Can you hear me now? Excellent. Okay, I accept that feather. Thank you. Thank you for having me here today. Thank you to all of you grandmothers gathering this morning and doing this work. I can relate to what both of you just talked about in terms of the last 3 days feeling especially challenging. And let me see. If I had to summarize a couple of things, I would say part of what I've been tenderizing is where exactly does my inspiration come from? And I'm recognizing that it really does come from a sense of sort of innocent wonder. I like to play with materials and ideas, and I like to hang out with people who can do that. And I like to keep it in that space. There are a lot of people who cannot keep things in innocent wonder. And in fact, I think it makes them uncomfortable, and they bring energies that are not even meant to be bullying energies, I think malicious, conscious, but they want to trample it because it feels precious and like something they can't control. So just getting in touch with how important that is to me. That's something I've worked with for a lot of years, but really cultivating, protecting it, being a good protector of that magical space, and cultivating it for myself also, not just feeling like, oh, sometimes this wonder comes at me and isn't that great, but also being more in conscious co-creation with it, and so that I am choosing that space as well, and not just feeling like it's all this wonder happens to me. It's like, well, there's a co-creation, right? So that has been part of my journey, and then and that's connected with writing and what I'm writing about and how I'm writing. And so I feel like that gives me a kind of a powerful focus for the next year, because I can write about all different kinds of things and all different kinds of topics and all different kinds of ways. So it helps me hone that a little bit. I would say part of my challenges have been around boundaries, and I feel like my job this week has been to sort of identify leaks in my energy where there isn't a matching investment with things. So I've been working with a little bit of frog medicine to kind of like clarify the waters, like let the med go and just see as clearly as I can, and be honest when something comes up and it doesn't feel good. Try in the moment to be as honest with, whatever's going on for myself and with the people I'm dealing with. So, let me see. So yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It was interesting. I did have an experience yesterday where I was just freaked out from a whole bunch of things that had happened over the week. And I kept having this phrase that came up. And so I was able to lean into the phrase, and the antidote for the energy came from the phrase. So I thought that was interesting, because I've been contemplating that with like roses and thorns. If you get punctured by a thorn, the rose can help draw it out. I mean, a lot of things have the antidote and the thing together. So I've been contemplating that medicine, and just appreciating this time to contemplate. And I appreciate being able to share with you ladies and to hear what you have going on. So thank you. Oh, and I pass the feather to, is there someone who wants to raise a hand and I can pass a feather? I'll mute myself, and I'll just, there, Mayana. Aha, I see Mayana raising her hand. I'm gonna.
Thank you. Thank you. I've had a really interesting week and journey through this time. And my great challenge, interestingly, from the West, my history, my family, my lineage is the West Coast of Oregon and the rivers there. And I was taken this week to a place within me where I have been paralyzed from the training of misogyny and racism and, all those horrible things that my grandfather was deeply, deeply involved in with the KKK and all the stuff. And as a girl and the youngest of 4, I found my 3 older brothers each represented an energy of this. My oldest brother was the bully. The second brother was the abuser. And the third brother was the hypocrite, all out of that fundamentalist Christian culture that we were in. And it was interesting that with all the work that I've done until now, when I was taken down into the depths of that space, it was clean and clear for me. And, I have the 2 of the brothers are on the verge of crossing over. And the third one is deep in the current political situation that's happening in the United States behind the scenes. so there's all this really depth of connection to these feelings. And so my challenge that was where I had been paralyzed by all of this from birth. No, you cannot, you will not, you will never, you don't have the right, you're just a girl, you're to be the slave and the servant. And I found that place where I was paralyzed and saw how parasites feed off of paralyzation. And I was brought to life in that space. And I organized my whole office and my craft room and all the things I had been wanting to do and know how to do and can do and had been prevented in my own self from doing. So my inspiration comes from doing, and it comes from doing together with others. And I am so grateful for you all that I've been doing with. Thanks.
I'm going to thank you, Mayana. Boy, could we go into a love story. I'm going to ask if Brenda Martinez, I can see you're there, but I don't have a picture, if you would like to speak or not. Can you unmute yourself, Brenda? There we go. All right.
Geez, I feel like I'm a student and really listening to everyone here. I'm loving it. So I'm just loving just being listening to everybody. But what brought me here was water.
Mhm.
And that's one of my intents or goals this year is to be an advocate for actually for water, educating, conserve our precious, stop watering lawns, right? It just kind of, but educate. So that's why I'm here. I just really wanted to get that spiritually in me, and but I mean, I think my focus really is, which has always brought me to this group, is my grandchildren. So I am here as I feel like my purpose is to stop the suffering in my lineage. I've got native Four Corners, Colorado, Ute, Navajo, the whole, and and of course we all have the ancestral history, but it really just the past couple of years I was like, why are we suffering? Why are we doing this to ourselves? So it all came down to, where can I make the difference? And the difference is grandchildren. But all the work is with me though, right? It's all starts with me. And so just really being the light, being the change, learning. And I'm really getting all that from all you grandmothers, because we all have that. So we all have that. I mean, even if you don't have grandchildren, you've got that love for the children. So water, grandchildren are my passions right now. So thank you.
Well, sister, we all have the same passions. You know that Water Medicine Woman. Please stay in tune because it's going to be one of my anthems at the website, water medicine and activism and all that. So, yay, I'm glad you're here, hon. So, I'm going to pass the baton to Women's Radio. Can you unmute yourself? There we go.
I'm sorry. I should have seen that and changed it. I can't seem to rename it and have it stick, but here, we'll try again. Okay, great. Hi, my name is Pat. I'm currently living in Augusta, Georgia, and I'm not quite sure where to start, but one I would say are the challenges, and the other is the inspiration. Is that good enough? Okay. So the challenges seem to be all the technical things I'm doing, and it's been, I've just been bombarded by a lot of bad energy. I don't really know how to describe it. I'm not sure why I attracted all of that, but clearly one of the messages I got was so that I can learn clearly what I'm facing instead of approaching things in such a naive fashion that I can really see what I'm facing and be able to deal with it effectively. Because I was told there's a lot more responsibility, as it were, coming, and I needed to be able to do that part effectively. But it has been really, really challenging, and it happened again Thursday and Friday, and so it feels very discouraging to me. So I have to spend a good deal of time finding my center again, reminding myself what my job is and where I'm going, and try and find that enthusiastic place on the inside of doing the work I love to do. So a lot of that work is in the area of communication and helping other people have a larger voice, and having one myself from time to time. So and I'll have to give Sharon a lot of credit. She's been a real friend and invited me here, and I appreciate that very much. I think that's about it. Thank you.
So beautiful. Thank you, Pat. Deeply felt. I'm going to pass the baton to you, my dear, dear friend, Bonnie Vestal, my soul sister.
Honor to you, Suzanne, and to our mutual teacher, Angeles.
Yeah.
So talk about inspiration. Wow, what a glowing bouquet of beautiful souls right here. And hello to all of you who I've never met before. And dear Lisa, I follow you from afar. But observing as I sit here, even though Venerable Suzanne is the honorable grandmother amongst us, I believe I'm the oldest, and I just love, I'm coming up on my 80th birthday in about 6 weeks. And yay, yes, I love this vantage point. And I also love that Lisa invited us to resonate with part of her song that really connected. And for me, it was the land holding me, and has been so important to me that I was almost late for this meeting because I've been out in the foothills all morning. But I also am impressed with the beauty, the peace, the graciousness that has been around me. Like you, Suzanne, I've been doing the Crack Between the Worlds practice, and every day examining the rivers, and there's been a nice flow from each of them, so that the coming together feels
bubbly and energized and enthusiastic. And I usually really enjoy the completion of the holiday season because it's almost more than I want to be, the way our culture does holiday season. So different from this practice that we have of the Four Rivers. So I'm grateful to Angie and to you, Suzanne, for keeping that front and center. And I go back through my journals and look at all the other years of Four Rivers. And it's interesting to me that my challenge and surprise and love is all just churning in the whirlpool in the middle. And it's all around my dear son, who, when I turn 80, he will turn 50, which kind of amazes me. I never expected to have children. Now have a middle-aged man who is my son. And he has gone through his own initiation this past year. And because of that, he and I have become very close. He talks to me more. In his marriage, he rarely spoke to me. He was in his peer group in the prime of his work life and didn't have much reason to talk to his elderly mother. And this year has been so sweetly different. We have done so many conversations of what came from where in the family lineage and what went back from me down to him and back to my family of origin. I've never had the chance to share this with either of my children. And having talked like this, he got himself into a career coaching situation, and he's eager to know where what he is comes from. And I've had to own what if it came from my woundedness. And I had to explain to him how come I behaved as I did. He watched it as a child, absorbed it, and is now expressing it. And we had the chance to make a choice.
Mhm.
Who can come to voice and who can decide to transcend this. So to me, it's a beautiful surprise to see it all swirling together and watching some of it, the painful, shadowy part, get brightened by the light of curiosity and interest and the willingness to explore inside the self. So he's taking the the various inventories like the DISC profile and the Clifton Strengths profile and um, the Myers-Briggs, and I have all my collected strengths, and we're superimposing and see where it has shifted over one. And I'm about to write him the letter that Angie taught us about, where the ancestors are standing behind us and whispering amongst themselves because they see a little light, a little spark, and they'll go, oh, maybe this will be the one. Maybe this will be the one that wakes up and breaks the chain that has held us all in bondage. And so I'm sitting with the ancestors in the morning and offering my son and saying, this is the one. He's doing it. He's breaking the bonds. So it's a beautiful surprise and a nice warm love that has come between us, and it all comes out of the challenges that both of us experienced. And now I'm sitting in a circle of inspiration. So thank you.
Bonnie, those of you that are unaware of this Earth Angel, she was the only pediatric oncologist in Boise, Idaho for 18 years. When I returned in the mid-'80s from having my own growth in my brain, I was destined to walk beside this woman. And I want you all to encourage us to tell our story of the bridging of Western medicine and innate medicine, wisdom, knowledge. And along that inspiration with our website, one of my desires, I've been a teacher for 30 plus years, but I have a circle of profound wisdom keepers, including you, Bonnie, and Lisa, and others, that I aspire to have a place on our website where we can address issues. Like for me, I want to address living with cancer, care for the caregivers. What about the children and the whole retina? And that's where Bonnie and I are expertise, Bonnie especially. But so I'm using this moment in time to have us all empower that there's no time to put it off sharing. The young that are going to have to do the work, like your son and my son, they deserve to hear this. Oh, so I got to get back to who. Okay, we haven't. Thank you, Bonnie. We haven't heard from Sharon or the phone number 1-208-858. Oh golly, 1-208-880-5352. Do either of you want to speak?
Well, I'm always willing to speak, but well, hey, how about you?
I don't see her responding.
Yes, right.
Okay, just before I introduce, I want you all to know that this beloved lady, Sharon, is the courageous woman, guardian, eternal star wisdom woman that showed up for me in the late mid 2015 to 2018, and literally taught me how to get on Zoom, taught me how to host. And you'll all think of me as the grandmother of Zooming, but she's the one. And regarding our Facebook page, it's Sharon who had the knowledge to get us even up and going on a page. And it's Sharon right now that's doing the vital bridging between our Facebook place and our reason and for moving into the Global Grandmother Council Network organization, our Facebook, our website, Return to the Garden. And so I just had to give that accolades to you, dear one. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, hon.
Well, the truth of it is, Suzanne, if you hadn't found me, somebody would have found you. But in 2016, I can't remember what brought us together. We were both in Boise, Idaho, and Suzanne had come to the conclusion with her work with Brooke Medicine Eagle and others, the value of grandmothers and the necessity of grandmothers coming together. And I came from a very different perspective, coming out of a patriarchal system, but realizing that there was information that was lacking, as all we were doing was not getting us anywhere, even in the New Age group. So I had already begun asking into the star systems, what I'll call the star systems, into our galactic worlds, what's missing, what's missing. And so my working with those beings in the galactic worlds brought me to an understanding by then that women are critical. Well, whatever age, they are critical. And our world cannot change without the voice of women, and the voice of women understanding and being back in touch with the fact that they're here to discern taste. Like Pat says, what's this awful taste I'm having and why? But not just the why, and not just that it is, but what do we do about it? And that's what was missing. What can we do about it? So the authority of women is what I was shown. So when Suzanne and I had a conversation, I went, of course, this is what we must do. So it was in 2016 that we did the first Facebook group page. It was a page at the time. And then beyond that, it did its own thing and brought in amazing women like Mayanna. For me, what's been the challenging thing, a couple of things is, when you start getting information so quickly, that's almost a challenge. But when you start getting new information, the other side of that challenge is it pushes on what you thought you knew. Or it pushes on and pushes up the trauma you'd hidden. Whether it's yours, whether it's genetic, whether it's the female psyche. So the good is like the new things were coming. New things have been coming the last 2 months, 3 months that we've just been, I would say, evolving faster than I can share it, and maybe even faster than you've been able to share what you've been learning. And in that, there's inspiration. And the challenges break what I know, let go. I don't know anything is a good way to stand, letting go of everything you think you know and letting you see what comes back that is still true in your new information state. And also then be willing, what I call, the Iroquois Nation's good mind is so, so important, because we are always going to be knocked off our good mind. We are going to be triggered. And good mind says, here's the values, here's my presence, here's my choice of being on the planet, these qualities. And when I am triggered or knocked off that stance, that energy, I'm no longer in good mind. But I'm not bad. It's the time for me to say, what's in the way, take time and say, what tools do I have to get myself back in alignment? You know that. And so when new information starts coming so quickly, it also requires the time to go off periodically and use the tools to get back into good mind, even in this new state. So for me, this is an amazing time. And what's mind-boggling almost to me, because I started this work in 71, expanded more in 89. The galactic worlds that I talked and saw and the half-truths that I was challenging made many, many people uncomfortable. They loved me, but they certainly did not want to embrace what I was telling them. I know it's important, but I don't. And so I was really weird. And now I'm going to circles, and they're going like, I was in a circle yesterday with a woman, was not my student. I've met her in various places recently, including Global Grandmothers. And she led a meditation that I had led, similar to one I'd led beginning 5 years ago, and going into negative regions to find, restore, rescue the children that were held there beyond what we'd ever known before. We know about fractured selves, but these are kidnapped souls, anciently blood sacrificed kidnapped souls. I didn't tell her about them, but she led a ceremony in her way, through her guidance, that was almost like patterned 100% about what I've been doing for 5 years. It's so, so encouraging to me, because Bonnie, I beat ya. I'm 84. So, it's time for us to see in these generations coming up that we don't have to continue to do it all, or to hold and scream and scream and scream, that others are now getting it. We got what we got because of the shoulders we stood on, who were so trapped. Our mothers and grandmothers were so trapped. But we stood on their shoulders, and then others are standing on shoulders, not even knowing what shoulders they're standing on, and going way beyond what we will be able to do, because our life, physical bodies, are finite. So, the challenge is staying with it, using your tools, claiming your presence, and then hearing, what does that mean to the bigger picture? And is water part of that? Oh my, yes. As is fire, right? In our day-to-day. Thank you. Love you, Suzanne.
Oh, that's so, so beautiful. Oh. I was thinking about a recent conversation I had with Venerable Dahani. And I started training with Venerable Dahani in 1991 when spirit interrupted my life. When I healed from my brain tumor, I made some commitments. One of my commitments was that I keep my ear to the earth, and when called, I would show up. And that's one of my greatest virtues. I show up. And so, oh dear, there goes one of my holy moments. Anyway, Venerable Tahani, basically, when she heard me be confused why, when I was listening to her discuss water medicine woman, which for the 30th year, I heard her explain it like I'd never heard her before. She alluded and just came out and said that water medicine woman is the Holy Mother, the mother of all. When we're embryos, we're in the mother's womb, the ocean. We're water babies. Our being is sentient. We hear through our whole body. And so, anyway, getting back to Venerable Tahani, I confess that my ego got involved because I wanted to own. Since 1998, I have been working on Water Medicine Woman manuscript. I want to be the creator of it. And she chuckled at me and she said, my greatest joy in life is when I can see those who have walked beside me, who have become family, become a community, are expressing what expresses through me. It is my greatest joy. Thank you. And I say that to you, Sharon, too, and to all of you, is thank you deeply. Thank you kindly. We're singing in the choir, and we've done it for so many lifetimes. Only present moment is such a significant lifetime. So if there's no other person that wants to share, because time is getting, time keeps on slipping. I want to move on to, I've got two things. One, I want to make sure I get a little glip about Global Grandmothers Council Network and how we've got an academy and courses and all these potential stories for our grandchildren and all. But first, I have to do the Wind Horse prayers. At the end of this 13th lunar month, the crack between the worlds, as we are now through tonight and tomorrow going to start the first lunar month, wind horses are prayers. And it is believed that when after reviewing for a month these activities, we have gained some kind of clarity, some kind of instinctual response that what is really important to us right now, what we do want to participate in the days and the months ahead. And so I requested all of you to draft a wind horse. And yeah, I've got mine right here. And the power of the wind horse is that when we announce to our circle, in which we've got a powerful circle here, we don't have to read the entire prayer, but when we announce that we're going to turn this over to the highest good, and we do it through the act of fire, that we give our message to the fire, and then it is transmuted into smoke that is like signals to the ancestors, and that's the wind horse. The power of the prayer is lifted up and out to our ancestors. And so I really do care about the wind horses each of us have been drafting. And so for just a second, can you raise your hand if anybody has a question before we move into this, the burning bowl with the wind horse practice? Lisa, can you be called up now?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. So one of the things dear Angie Ariane always taught, she would say, and you can see the powerful sun. Whoa, is it a magnetic light coming through right now? I am a ray of the great sun. My name is Suzanne, the Star Rose of Idaho. I'll pray for you. You pray for me, and we'll pray together. It's a commitment. And Lisa's going to go over to her hearth of the home and demonstrate how to do this, because we couldn't figure a way to get your papers through the ethers into her hands to burn them. So you guys can be responsible for getting yourself a bowl over your kitchen sink and burning it. But for right now, Divine Grace spoke through me yesterday, and this is my Windhorse prayer, and I'm going to read it out loud. And one of the things I'm going to suggest that after I read it, Lisa demonstrates, and that we go through the participants that are willing to share, is that one, you have the option to read your prayer out loud because we are all one, or you can sum it up, what your prayer and what you're petitioning. For me, I am going to get Water Medicine Woman, Holy Woman, Reclaiming the Feminine Faces of God out. I'm going to get this book out. And so the order again is, I'm going to read my Windhorse prayer. Then I'm going to turn it over to you, Lisa. And then I will turn it over to you, the circle, the sacred circle. 13th lunar month, 4 river divination. My Windhorse prayer. New Year rings the bells. Present moment, beautiful. Unified tone, joy. I begin all my writings with a haiku. The little winged one started singing early this morning before the light of day, as I carefully prepared the kindling to light my circle of stone craft room's wood stove. Thoughts of chop wood, carry water runs through me. Ah, the scent of life. Ancient ancestors rhythmically repeat, it takes 1,000 times, 1,000 prayers to amend an unhealthy trait, an abuse, a harm to one's state of being. Remembering original gift from Creator, the gift of fire, fire in the belly, fire in the heart, fire in the base of the skull, all weaving together to join Creator's breath, breathing life into the frozen unconsciousness in order to sustain rebirth, renewal, recharge. Try to take a shortcut in the fire building, and the tough environment erupts with smoke and danger. Step by step, no shortcuts. Singing little birds in the dark of early morning. To Lady Jane, my ancestor angel, bells ringing joyfully this morning, letting us know she was present. And from the invisible, eternal family of ancestors, great teachers, the sweet Mother Earth and her elemental grandmothers and ancient mother mountains, from the place of no time to present time, to the far out time, to the far back time, the only place to be vitally alive is right here, right now. In a blink, like the star beings, light beings, way showers, we are capable of unifying all times through the fine art of storytelling, crafting, and metaphorical art expressions. In a community that is willing to tell it like it is, willing to bridge, giving and receiving. Transmitters, translators, holy scribes, and great teachers, filled with wisdom fires that state, no shoulda, no coulda, no woulda, only right actions with right relations, with the right timing, with the right vision for all our relations. There's no place to go. There's nothing to do, everything to be. I love the natural world in all its wisdom, being seen, recognized, and respected. The gift of the wise elder, ringing of the bells, liminal space invites all eternal calling.
So I know the full moon is tomorrow, and I'm going to write a fuller Windhorse. But I sat this morning and wrote this out so that I can just take us through that process, the visible process of the whole thing. On this day, O ancestors, open my mind to the patterns I am ready to release, the leaps and steps I am ready to take, the commitments I am ready to make in order to move along, renewed, refreshed, and set free to be more and more me. Love, Lisa K. Luna, Light Feather Straw. And then right before circle, this challenging old story swept in under, literally right before circle, just came in as in like, pay attention to me, bring me into this, help me. And so it has to do with projections and the ability to undo the projection and let truth emerge and stay strong. And so I'm asking for help as I continue to work that through. So then, Suzanne, yes, lead through, and then I have the fire starter. I have you kind of crumple it up. And then finding your own place to burn it safely. The other thing one of those things that Suzanne mentioned, you listen to the teachings, you hear them more and more, and then you watch how it burns and see if there is a design in there, a pattern in there. Once I learned that teaching, I saw a book open many pages. I've seen a rose blossom. I've seen all sorts of things happen in the flames. So you watch the flames as well. Anything else, Suzanne?
The gift of fire. The prayer is the earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, return, return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, return, return. We're praying for the great balance, the center. And it worked.
And I got a little message in the sense that I saw two separate flames, which to me speaks to the boundaries we need between those and those who are projecting upon us, because part of their ability to take us up and take us into that false story is their power. And then there was a third flame. So a third flame is born out of that willingness to boundary and separate. And then a third flame. That's what I got from that.
The Holy Trinity. Yeah. So now I'd like to check in with you, sweet Anam Cara, Eternal Family. Anybody that would like to express your name and just a short gem of your prayers for 2025? Mayana?
He's pointing to me.
Sharon?
She can see that I'd already unmuted. Sharon Raji Maynard here. My commitment to 2025 began in the fall, as maybe many of yours did, to wake women in order that they move mountains.
Yes.
And by sharing more extensively than I ever had before, those voices of beings from beyond, Mother Gaia, Ancient Ones, Ananda Christ, that feel that enthusiasm and love that they have for us, and also new information. So that is my
Wonderful.
So for 2025, I have a rich plate, full ability. And my intention is to continue nurturing Grandmother's Garden and our website and our marketplace and academy. For my own self, I'm bringing out publicly what I've had hidden within and what I've not brought forth as a teacher, I'm going to bring forth for others and speak my truths out loud where I have, for safety reasons, had to stay hidden before. I don't have to do that now. And I am free to be all of me. And it's because of my connection here with Suzanne and with Sharon and with the grandmothers and Lisa, the reclamation of my being and my ability to be who I am without restrictions. And in that, to speak to my lineages, to speak to what, someone asked me about my culture, how do I experience my culture? And it's like, well, what kind of culture is a white nationalist culture? It's not a culture. It's a nothingness. So how do I find my culture? And I've worked with the Culture of Peace Commission and understood it as a culture as like a kombucha or a yogurt. It's living. It's a living organism that you have to be really careful what elements are in it. So I am going to take great care that the elements in my thoughts, feelings, and actions are purity and life and integrity.
Grandmother
Lisa-
Suzanne,
Yes.
could you kind of go over this exercise for someone who's never, so I think what I'm understanding is to, because I mean, I was looking at what Lisa just did as well. So are you saying that create an intent for the 2025, write it down and then burn it? And then as you're burning it, watch it and see what message you get? Is that basically in a nutshell, or could you please?
Uh, so my teacher self goes, okay, now what is she asking here? The teachings of the 13th lunar month and teachings of water medicine is very, very complex. It's, I've been working on it for a long, long time. This particular divination, 13th lunar month, is a cross-cultural, land-based wisdom that until right now has not been put in written form. It's an oral tradition. And like Lisa, she's been with me 24 years now. Every time when I share the actual journey to the high country, that's mine. That's my medicine. And stay tuned. I'm the peaceful practice, which is a summation of water medicine, is going to be a focus. Hopefully by March, Lisa and I will share our video and start the teachings. But regarding your question, and I don't know who asked it, the wind horse is, we turn everything over to the highest good. And we're at a point in our time that we need all the help we can get from ancestors, from the earth, from a holy creator to help us manifest this important chain breaking, false cultural, relational system. And that's the wind horse. The wind horse is the basic prayer. And symbolically, when we put it to fire, which is the gift of the creator for transformation, and then we observe it going into smoke and into clouds, that's our willingness to be multidimensional, that we're willing to be in our high instinctual feminine nature that is intuitive, instinctual, imaginative. And then literally by speaking out loud our 2025 intention, deliberately, I have put you all in a state of present moment, beautiful moment, right here, right now. What have you gained? What do you know you're going to be living on the altar of your life for the next month, next year? What is your essence? You can pursue the wind horse prayers by placing it on your refrigerator and committing to let the outside nature reflect the inside nature and be willing for every gift of trees murmuring, birds singing, thunderstorms cracking a tree open, whatever. Lisa, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think the only that is beautiful. And Brenda, I think you really did get the essence of what you can do right now. This particular meeting was the culmination of an entire month of doing the Four Rivers exercise, which was documenting four different rivers of our lives and then kind of looking at that and formulating the prayer from that. And your call toward the water makes sense to me as to what you're here. And I think you reflected perfectly what you can do right in this moment to write down your intention and then do that ancestral share with the wind horse and what Suzanne said. So just so you know, that's what we are speaking to is a month-long process that just completed itself, which is where our content came from. But you listened beautifully and said it perfectly for what you can do in this on this day and in this next full moon cycle right here. It's perfect.
Thank you so much.
One of the things I'd like to share is that in the garden, our website, we have topics that we're really interested in. And so the 13th lunar month, I've already been posting and adding things to it. And I'm going to take the next step to mark it as one of my advocacies. And those of you that want to continue this dialogue, you can meet me there and collaborate and expand and get real excited about water medicine. Okay, so we're at 108. How symbolic. I love the song I Am the Circle. And I invite you all to sing it together. And unless you have any other questions, after we sing it, we'll say, see you later, alligator. Lisa, are you there with me? So
Yep.
I'll sing the first verse, and then Lisa will sing with all of you at a call and response. I'm getting in my tree pose. I am the circle, and you are healing me.
I am the circle and you are healing me.
United women, we are one.
United women, we are one.
I am one and you are one and we are one together.
I am one and you are one and we are one together.
United women, we are one.
United women, we are one.
We are
We
one.
are one.
We
We are one.
We
We
are
are one
one
together.
together.
Bye, everybody.